Hello. Okay, so I'm tired of doing promotional product videos. I want to do a teaching video. So I am going to teach you guys how to do a very simple money acquisition spell using nothing more than your hair and a few implements. Now, those of you who are watching this on Instagram, you may need to jump over to TikTok, Snapchat, or Patreon to catch all the information because I'm going to actually give you 10 uses of hair and magic while I am teaching you how to do this specific spell. I do a lot of teaching. Most of my teaching is on Patreon. Once in a while, I do upload those videos to our YouTube. So if you're ever interested in learning about different ways to cast, different methodologies, different practices, jump on our YouTube. I'm always putting videos on there that I feel have really meaningful content for people. So the spell we're doing today, basically we're using our hair. You're going to need some hair clippies, or I like these gold bobby pins, gold for abundance and prosperity. You're going to need some curlers, okay? I like textured curlers because it grabs onto your hair. And you're going to need some spiritual currency, like a stack of spiritual currency. Now, you can get all of this on Amazon very cheaply, just for a couple of dollars, and you get to reuse everything except for the spiritual currency. Now, you can do this one of two ways. I'm going to walk you through it. If you're a swords energy person, you're very good with the mind. If you want to recite your petition in your mind while you're doing this, that works just fine. If you're somebody who struggles with focus on a petition that you're having to repeat over and over again, write it down on your spiritual currency. So, like, for example, I wrote on here, and also always make sure you're not wishy-washy with the petitions. They have to be very matter of fact. They have to be reclamation petitions. So I will clear $4,000 this week, and I will meet all my financial obligations. So that's an example. So, like, if you needed a certain amount of money by a certain time for a certain reason, you've done it. You will. There's no question about it. Write it down. Use shorthand if you want. It doesn't have to, if it's a long sentence, use shorthand. It's fine. All right, so once you have that set up, I'm basically going to be curling my hair with this money. So find whichever curler size you want. I say always do at least 10 curls, at least 10. Do more if you can, but try to shoot for at least 10. And it doesn't have to be like a perfect separation. It doesn't have to be like a certain weighted curl. Don't overthink it, you guys. Just go ahead, wrap that hair around, curl it up a little bit. You're going to take your spiritual currency that's either blank because you're thinking about your petition or you've written. Okay, back at it. Sorry, this is going to happen a few times. I have to reset. Take your spiritual currency. You're going to go ahead. You're going to wrap it up. You're going to fold it down if it overlaps. Some of these curlers are really big, so you might not have a lot of overlap. But if you do, and then you're just going to roll it. You're thinking about your petition now. Once you get it up there, go ahead and clip it in. And now we're just going to do this for at least 10 rolls. Now, I am going to give you a little bit of history on hair work in general while I'm doing this. I love the Victorian era, 19th century. Hair work was really big back then. It was a hobby for most wives that stayed at home back then, right? They didn't work. So it was written about in publications. There was all kinds of like different palette works, which was intricate weaving and designs using hair. There was this dissolving of the hair and mixing it in with an ink like walnut ink, and then painting pictures. So there's all these amazing, amazing uses of hair back then. I personally like, instead of having like the family reunion portraits, what they would do is everybody would take a lock of hair and they would make a family wreath, and it would have the year on the plaque. Same thing with classes, instead of classroom photos, every kid would have a lock of hair and a wreath, and they would have the year of that class, and they would display it on the wall. Valentine's Day, they would make their little Valentines, and then they would put a lock of hair in there and give it to their Valentine. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful tradition. There are hair work artists still out there today. I know there's a lot of them on Etsy. They even do pet hair, so it doesn't even have to be, a deceased person or a living person. I actually have a hair work locket from somebody on Etsy of me and my two daughters, and I will put some pictures in here And I'll show you the hair work that I've collected from estate sales and antique shops over the year and that I've had made. It is very powerful. It's a very powerful source of energy here in general, especially when you kind of turn it into a piece of art, you know, something very, you know, one of a kind. It gives it more energy. Anyway, I'm going off track here. All right, so when my kids were in Girl Scouts, I actually taught their Girl Scout troop how to make black walnut ink, how to dissolve hair, mix it in the ink, and do paintings. So that was pretty cool. All right, so back to the Victorian era. I put notes here so I would stay on track. I'm telling you guys, ADHD big time with me. All right, so careful if you are in the market for acquiring hair, because a lot of the braided bracelets and neck chains you'll see is... Okay, I'm back. All right, so where was I? I don't even remember. Victorian era, 19th century. Oh, make sure if you're buying braids, bracelets, or necklaces that it's not horsehair, that it's human hair, because that was also very common at the time as well. All right, so I like palette work. That's your intricate weaving. I like dissolving it in ink. I like braiding and weaving it, making jewelry out of it. Mourning, you know, that was a mourning custom, is, you know, they would take hair from the deceased and they would make jewelry. Now, you can still do that, but here's my advice. For adhesives, use like miniature gel. So miniature gels or museum gel, that is going to prevent degradation of the hair. One of the other things I suggest is using wires. Use wires for braiding to keep it intact for a longer period of time. Also, you can go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and get those orbs, like where you can make like the orb earrings, the orb necklaces. Those can be hair charms. So I'm just throwing it out there. All right, spells. Let's get into spells. There's 10 of them I want to share with you besides the one that we're doing right now. The first one is Sacred Fire Love Binding. Obviously, if you're using a target's hair to do a binding work and then combining that with Sacred Fire, it's very powerful. You can take hair and add it to sulfur and vinegar in a jar to have influence over a person. That's a popular Boss Fix work, by the way. You can do activation with hair at different places, like sacred places, you know, caves, lakes, a special forest that has meaning to you, cemeteries. Hair is used in those environments for activating different intents and spells. Oh, this one's a little loose. Try to make sure you don't make them too loose, you guys. See, look, that one's a little bit loose, so you don't want to do that. But we're going to keep moving on. Dream spells. If you are trying to have influence over somebody in their dream, using hair to do that is a solid way to bridge that liminal space and to have spiritual influence over that person in their dream state. Scrying, fortune telling. Hair is used in fortune telling, specifically scrying. I'm not a big scryer, but I know people who are, and they will actually put the hair on their onyx plates before they scry. So that is one option if you're divinating about somebody. Simula magic. I do not do simula magic, but if you do simula magic, obviously hair is used to create energetic duplicates or duplications of people. So if you are into that, if that's your thing, hair is used for energetic duplication. All right, here we go again. All right, so growth and health spells. Using hair, adding it to a jar with moon water, it will give you a surge of vitality. So if you're sick, you're recovering from an illness, get yourself some moon water, put a locket of hair in there. Same thing, if your kid, your spouse, your parents are struggling, moon water with those locks of hair. Okay, what else? Poppets. You guys know poppets. Those are, you know, we put every kind of element we can in those, and we're trying to really energetically connect to that individual spirit. So hair is commonly used along with nail clippings and other things in poppet work. Unless you have a very heavy deital solicitation altar like I do, you're probably going to want personal effects in any kind of poppet work. Witches' ladders. So witches' ladders can be used for multiple purposes. In this situation with hair, you can add hair to your witch's ladder for warding, cleansing the environment, keeping it safe. Or if you're, you know, kind of targeting somebody else, you can use it for influence and persuasion over that person. I'm using one of my little gold bobby pins here. I do like using gold for prosperity and abundance, any kind of money drawing work, you guys. All right, what's next? Protection. So weaving your hair into, or anybody else's hair that maybe you're trying to protect a child, weaving that hair into a protective charm or amulet, agree, any kind of object that you're using for protection, it will target that protection very strongly. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's it. I think hair is a beautiful implement and tool. I love using it in keepsakes. I'll put some pictures in here of what I've done with hair. I think hair is wonderful in magical practices. It's very strong. It starts right at your crown chakra, and this energy is going to travel now through your body. It's going to create a vibration and frequency to attract money to you, to help you meet your goal, your petition. It's great for protection. It's great for influence. It's great for activation works. I'm trying to think of what else. It is good for divination. I mean, and health, you know, healing and health. It's great for that too. So I just wanted to teach something instead of just trying to sell stuff. If you like learning, join our Patreon. We're constantly doing classes. We're constantly teaching on there about all sorts of different things. You know, we talk about everything on there, all sorts of different methodologies of divination, magical practices, you name it. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to finish this up and take a few pictures. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Try not to make them too loose. Sometimes I make mine too loose. But it's kind of fun. All right, last run here. I'm going to finish putting some more in my hair. I'm going to let them sit in my hair for, I would say, about 15-20 minutes before I take them out. Here's the one caveat. Now, when you take these out, and now remember, for the 15-20 minutes you're sitting, you're focusing on your petition. You're focusing on that amount of money and when you need it by and why. Okay? You can take your spiritual currency you've used, and I recommend burning it in a sacred fire. If that is not an option for you, if you're more of a nature spirit, you can bury this outside. You know, right now is maple tree season with whirligigs. If you can get it buried by a maple tree, that's going to be very powerful. It's going to solicit a lot of support from nature spirit. Throwing it in running water, you know, a stream, a creek. I wouldn't throw these in a heavy, lake like Lake Michigan or anything. Like, I would look for, you know, a creek or a stream that's actually moving to kind of carry the energy. But yeah, you have a couple of options there. I wouldn't hold on to them. I wouldn't reuse them, because then you're recycling energy that you've already spent and it starts to dirty and muddy up. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care.